Welcome back to Doing a 180 at 60. I'm author John Raymond Takacs, and I still have my guest here. They didn't run off during the break. And swimming is the first leg of a triathlon. And like the judge was saying earlier, different distances of triathlons have different lengths of swimming. Well, we just are fortunate enough to have Josh here. And Josh, you're the coach of...
the amateur polar bears swim team here in the county, plus the master swim team, and one of the assistant coaches for the high school swim teams.
So the masters, I know, is not about being a master swimmer so much as it is about, it's an age group really, isn't it?
Right. Masters is a national team that's anyone 18 and over.
18 and over.
Yeah.
So
you don't have to be a pro at swimming to do it.
So it's when you have a master's class, it's not really about having a bunch of great swimmers. It's more about having a bunch of
like-minded individuals that want to practice swimming, learn to swim, or anywhere in between, even compete.
I see. This time of year, the winter reminds me of last year. In January, I was at New York Fitness. It was raining outside. It was 40 degrees. I came out of the locker room heading for the pool, shivering because it's so cold. And when I get to the pool, I look over and there's 3 other people swimming. They're all Ironman triathletes. So what does that tell you about commitment? I mean, really, Josh, how many people swim at this time of year?
You know, it's more than you would think. Some days I go out to the pool and I notice 6 or 7 people and it's raining and they're predicting snow. And other days it still stays at least 3 to 4 people in the pool even when it's freezing out, and most normal people would be inside on the treadmills.
Normal people, did you hear that? Normal people. So, Josh, we're not normal.
Yeah.
I know, Judge, I've seen you swim and you're not normal either. What I can tell is after my last triathlon in September, I was kind of just keeping in shape in the pool, maybe doing 500 yards or so. And I would get out, I would sit in the hot tub, and you were there before me, and then you would be there after I left the hot tub swimming. How far do you swim in the pool?
My workouts range from anywhere from 2,000 yards up to about 3,500 yards of workout.
1,760 yards, I believe, is a mile. So
Correct.
It's over a mile to 2 miles.
Correct.
Over 2 miles. How long does that take you normally?
It would take anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour and 15.
So I have to ask this because people ask me this all the time too. Can you keep track of your laps?
I can.
I can't.
I do okay with that.
For some reason, my head starts going, and that's my next question to you. What do you think about when you're in the pool?
I become very focused. I had a specific goal in mind, so every stroke I would be considering that I'm one step closer to that goal. So you become very focused on what you're doing that day and what your workout entails. So you break your workout up into segments. You don't just jump in a pool and swim 2,500 yards and get out. You break it up into 500-yard segments, doing something in each particular segment that you focused on.
And Josh, that's called what? Intervals?
Sets, we would normally call them.
Sets. Yeah. And those sets can vary from what? I mean,
any distances, you know, and they could be 25 yards, so like one length of the pool at a time, or hundreds or whatever, and just depending on what you're trying to train, you know, sprints or distance in the case with triathlons.
Let me see, I should rephrase this. A couple of years ago, I think it was maybe 2 years, 3 years ago, I started to learn to swim differently. After swimming the same way my whole life from swim team days, I found out that I wasn't hip. I wasn't doing it correctly anymore. And what I started doing is I went to a class, and you can look this up online if you like. It's called totalimmersion.net. And what it is really about getting flat in the water and long and lean, I mean even me, long and lean, flat on top of the water, and more importantly, it was one stroke, one kick. One stroke, one kick. And in triathlon, that's a big deal because we want to save
energy.
That's right. Energy and our legs. Because the other 2 parts of the triathlon is about your legs. And biking and running. So the one stroke, one kick is the thing that what I was learning to do. This is the really weird thing. I went faster with one stroke than I did at 6 strokes per kick. And I could do it so much longer and more efficient. Do you guys teach that at all?
Not for just swimming, not typically. For triathlons, it definitely helps because it saves your legs. But when I'm teaching sprints, I tell them, kick as much
for
as
sprints,
fast as
we don't
you can.
do that for sprints
But,
either.
Yeah.
That's correct. So, Steve, drafting. Do you draft? I don't know if you guys know this, but you can actually draft in swimming. In other words, get in behind somebody.
Oh, absolutely. The best way I had explained to me is if you take your hand in a bathtub and you put a floater toy, so those of you who had kids that did that, you pull your hand in front of the toy, it'll follow your hand. So that was the easiest way to explain it. For instance, in the Ironman, I, as quick as I could, found someone to follow, and I saw that same swimsuit and pair of legs for probably about an hour.
So you drafted right along.
Well, absolutely.
I looked up last night online because I knew about drafting, but I couldn't remember. And I found some statistics, and the statistics are kind of wide in a range, but really what jumped out at me is some people say between 20%, that's a lot, to 38%, which is huge energy for the swim. What my experience has been, because I'm rotten at this stuff, and I'm just learning really in a lot of ways, is when I come up to someone or I'm looking over and I see he's swimming the same speed I am, I get on his knee and start swimming. And it becomes so much easier that after a few minutes I feel like, wow, I can swim a lot faster than this. So, well, it's easier because I'm drafting.
Right.
I mean, and they don't teach that in the pools at all, do they? I mean, it's not really legal in anything else, is it, Josh?
No, not really. Like in college level, when you're doing a 500, you'll swim closer to that side of the lane if the person ahead of you is next to you.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So you guys do that, if
but
you can.
If we can. It's pretty difficult to do.
So, Judge, the swim start in a triathlon. Is there anything to equate that the whole world?
It is organized chaos. It is I explained that to my children that it's very aggressive. You get hit, you get kicked, and it's not intentional.
No.
You think about it if you did watch the Ironman start. You have 2,000 athletes and everybody's perpendicular sitting in the ocean, and you're sitting 6 inches or a foot apart. They blow a cannon, and now everybody goes horizontal. So you have 2,000 people filling a space that wasn't made for 2,000 people at that point, and they start kicking and swimming, and it's very aggressive. I lost my swim cap, came off probably within 100 yards. My goggles were knocked off. That was the first triathlon I did this year. I'd forgot what that was like. So that was a rude awakening.
Wasn't it? My very first longer triathlon, right within 40 or 50 yards from the start, I got kicked in the jaw so hard I saw stars. I stopped swimming and did the breaststroke until it started to come back. And I'm telling you, it took about 5 minutes to come back. It was just like getting punched in the jaw. When I started doing Ironman swimming, that chaos at the beginning, it's just crazy. It's the craziest thing. And people don't do it on purpose. I know that. In fact, we're on the beach all talking to each other, and they're all nice people. And you get in the water, they're not, it's aggressive, but it's just, there's no lanes in the ocean or in a lake. There's no lines on the bottom of the lake or in the ocean to follow. I mean, for myself, I wear glasses, and I can't even see a half a mile out to the very first buoy. I have to get on the line and follow those little short buoys because I can't see out that far. So when I say that we'll be swimming along, and just like you said, I'm on this guy's knee and I'm taking a breath every so often. Take a breath. I could see this other guy coming, and I could just see this collision going to happen. It was just like slow motion. Here he comes sideways, and me and him are going this way, and sure enough, bam! We all run into each other. We all choke, gather up, and away to go. When I first started doing it, it used to make me angry. Now it cracks me up because I know it's not on purpose. It's just I think I'm smiling in the water sometimes because it's so crazy. I don't know anything about it like that. I know, Josh, you might have played water polo. Is it somewhere?
a lot of things happen underwater.
Underwater.
And you can definitely get hurt, but nobody's doing it on purpose.
That's
so
right.
It's very...
Real quick, we have a few minutes here. We actually have about a minute. What exercises would you do on dry land to help your swimming?
A lot of strength, core training.
Core.
With, just basic stuff like sit-ups and bicycles and things like that, planks. But one of the things I prefer are stretch cords.
Stretch bands, yeah?
Yeah, using them to replicate the strokes, and they help tremendously with strength training for your swim-specific muscles.
Did you ever try stretch bands, Steve?
No.
I started doing stretch bands this year, earlier. And I mean, I just attach it to my hand, I bend over, and I do like the stroke. Keep my elbow up and try to do the stroke. I found it's really hard. It's a lot harder to do than swim, I'll guarantee you.
Yeah.
So, but you do recommend that?
I do.
Wow. So, you don't do that, so you just swim, and you do a lot of that?
Well, I do a lot of that. I don't do the stretch bands real easy with one arm, so it becomes more of what I can and can't do easily without getting injured. So when you use your arm all the time for everything, I'm also very cautious about how much weight I lift with it. So.
All right, we'll be right back in the next segment. We're going to talk about bicycling, the second leg of triathlon. Be right back.